Hi there, and welcome to Ian's Engage channel. I'm Ian. Here we are at the end of December, and it's time to talk new arrivals again. So, let's see what new arrivals Santa's brought for the last new arrivals of the year. In the previous new arrivals video, I introduced a Pico brake van, and mentioned that I was on the lookout for more brake vans to accompany my growing collection of wagons. Well, my next new arrivals are all Graham Farish brake vans. The first is a BR Bauxite liveried 20-ton variant. At around £10 more expensive than their Pico counterparts, I was expecting the Farish brake vans to be of a much higher quality. The livery application on the body of the model is excellent, and while most of the detail is moulded, there are some separately fitted parts, such as the railings at the end of the chassis on both sides. However, the paint was peeling off these straight out of the box. The body of the brake van has some nice detail representing its construction from wooden planks, and there are some nice lamp bracket details picked out in white paint on the ends of the van. The roof sports a little molded detail for vents, but the roof isn't removable, which is disappointing as I like to add a little weight to my brake vans. The under chassis detail is okay, featuring axle boxes, brakes, structural spars, springs and running boards, although the running boards didn't look particularly straight on my model. The underside detail of the model is non-existent, which I'm not too sad about. However, while the wheels are metal, the couplers are fixed into their pockets, which is inexcusable on a model at this price point. The next brake van is basically the same, only in rail freight red and grey livery. Again, the livery application is excellent, but all other details, features and shortcomings are similar to those of the Bauxite liveried model. The transfers are different and have been well applied, and even the minuscule writing on the data panel is readable under magnification. Sort of. The only other difference I can see is that the end panels, which are planks on the Bauxite livery brake van, are smooth on the rail freight version. Next, with a growing fleet of rail freight stock, including OAA and OBA open wagons, VIX furry vans and half a dozen VEA vans on pre-order, I decided to go for a second brake van in rail freight livery. The two brake vans have different running numbers, but otherwise they're identical. Overall, I think the quality of these Farish brake vans is very disappointing when compared to the Pico model, considering they're nearly twice the price. Next, we have some electronics. I finally caved and treated myself for Christmas with a sound decoder for my latest Revolution Trains Class 128 parcel unit. I still maintain that sound decoders are far too expensive for what they are, but if you want to fit a loco with sound, you're pretty much stuck with paying the money. I've gone for the Zimmo MS581N18, which isn't the smallest sound decoder that Zimmo make, but it will fit inside the Class 128 and is actually more powerful than its smaller version as it contains Stay Alive functionality. I have to mention that I purchased the decoder from YouChoose and was initially overwhelmed by what decoder to select and how to go about getting the right sounds installed onto it. I reached out for some help via email, and John at YouChoose was brilliant and guided me through the whole process. So, thanks very much, John. I'll be fitting the decoder sometime in the new year, so look out for that video if you're interested in hearing how the loco will sound. Next, we have more electronics. This time, it's the newly released AA model Frog power controllers. I've already got a healthy supply of Garmaster Auto Frogs, for which I have to thank Colin at Woodthorpe International for bolstering the numbers I have. However, I found that these didn't work properly when powered by my NCA power cab, so I thought I'd try these new ones by AA models. The main difference between these and the Garmaster Auto Frogs is that they have screw terminals for connecting the wiring, making them much easier to set up without the need for soldering. I expect I'll be experimenting with these quite soon, so watch this space for a video detailing how they perform. Next, we have something I'd been going to get for a very long time. It's a Garmaster wheel cleaner. Cleaning model loco wheels can be a real pain at times, but it's an essential job to keep our locos running. This wheel cleaner is a clever device that sits on top of the track and passes the power from the rails to the brass brushes on top of the unit. Holding a loco on top of the brushes and applying power will set the wheels of the loco turning, and the brass brushes should remove any dirt that's built up on the wheels. I plan on using this as part of a regular loco maintenance regime, which I'll kick off by servicing my unreliable Dapple Class 57XX in the new year. My final new arrivals are a bunch of electrical components that I've bunched together for convenience. Those who follow the channel regularly will know that I've mentioned wanting to rationalise my DCC bus. So, to give me options during rationalisation, I've purchased a selection of components to help me distribute power and connect wires together. I've gone for two different types of power distribution module. The first one is made up completely of screw terminals. Power is supplied at one end of the module, which is then split into 13 separate feeds. If more feeds are required, power can be daisy-chained between modules, making it a very scalable bit of kit. The second distribution module I've gone for is broadly similar to the first, but it only supports 8 separate feeds. However, while screw terminals can be used to provide power to the module, it also has a barrel socket, meaning power can also be provided via a DC jack plug. I think these power distribution boards will come in very handy, and I'll be using them for lots of things, like providing power to servo motors and controllers, track dropper wires, and eventually lighting. Last time I worked with power jacks and sockets, I purchased them in kit form and made them up myself. This was definitely the cheapest way to do it, but attaching the wires was a time-consuming business that relied on my mediocre soldering skills. So, purchasing plugs and sockets with wire tails already attached seemed like a good idea. I plan on using these to provide plug-in access to the DCC bus, so that power can be transferred between modules, for instance. Finally, I thought I'd try a new type of wire connector to me, which is a T-tap wire connector. These connectors work with wire that's 22 AWG, which is the same gauge as my dropper wires. I'm thinking that where I've got dropper wires that are close together, I can chain them together using these connectors before connecting them to the DCC bus. They have the advantage of clamping directly onto the wire, so the wire doesn't need to be stripped for them to work. This sounds like a great idea when working below the layout, but we shall see. I'll close out the video with a running session showing my Class 37s hauling a few freight trains, accompanied by my collection of brake vans. Okay, so that's about it for this update. While I've been broadly happy with my December purchases, I have to admit to being more than a little disappointed with the quality of the Varnishes brake vans. Don't get me wrong, they're not terrible, just vastly overpriced in my opinion, and not a patch on the quality of their dancehall brake vans. Anyway, I think I can now put a stop to purchasing brake vans, as I have a very healthy number to accompany my various rakes of open wagons, box vans and tankers. Although saying that, I did see a nice looking Royal Mail liveried one that's being offered to the Bachmann Collectors Club members. For those who are interested, I've put Amazon affiliate links to most of the items I've shown in the description of this video, along with a few of the products I've used for railway modelling. Anyway, do you already own any of the items I've shown in this video? I'm particularly interested in what you think of the Varnishes brake vans if you have one. Good or bad, let me know what you think. Alternatively, if you've got any hints, tips, helpful tools or techniques to pass on to a fellow N-Gauge modeller, or if you simply want to say hello, then please do so in the comments section. Anything and everything you've got to say will be greatly appreciated. In the meantime, thanks ever so much for watching. Hopefully there'll be more new arrivals to report in the new year. Bye!